fellow scrappers, 39 Fine, and today we're going to take a look at stripping wire and how I do it and the wire stripper that I have. I bought this wire stripper probably 15 or 20 years ago off of eBay. Never was able to figure out how to use it because it originally seemed to me like if it wasn't battery cable, it wasn't going to fit in this thing. I did some playing around with it one day and went, oh, you know, if you put the bottom roller there and adjust your side rollers there, and then you can drop your blade in wherever you want it to go. And yeah, so now I can actually strip wire with it, and we're gonna strip these cords here. We're actually in the middle of shooting the battery chargers for the cordless tools here, and I thought I'd stop and strip these out and the cords for those chargers and make a video of that, separate video, so you can see how I strip my cords. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at how that's done, and I'm going to get set up here and I'll show you how I do this. It's actually pretty quick. Alright, so I'm going to try to stay out of the way of this as much as I can, but it is what it is. So first of all, well, like I said, I like doing my scrapping in bulk. You know, I've got 4 extension cords here, and usually I'll do more than this, but we have all of this together right now, so these are all relatively the same size, so once I get this set up, we can just bebop right through these. Now, I try to keep as much copper as I can, so I've cut the plug end back to there, and you can simply take a side cutters, and these molded ends come off of the wire, just like that. So you don't have to cut. I mean, yeah, it's probably not much, but every time you do it, you're losing. So no sense in losing all the time. Take your side cutters right in the middle, cut a little split, and then you can just pull those 2 halves apart. And now we're dealing with 2 individual strands. And we're going to do that with all 4 cords. I have a little hook that I've got screwed into my ceiling behind me here, and I just hang it up back there. Makes my life a little easier. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. Got our little, on the end here, just take our side cutters, cut through that. Peel it off. We go down to our other end. We'll do the same thing here. This got a longer plug on it, and actually for this one, we are going to go get our carpet knife. You can't see this, it's down on the table, but I'm just slicing through it with the carpet knife. Remember, never cut towards yourself, always cut towards your friends. Should be enough. Sharp blades always help. This ain't exactly the sharpest blade. Plus, I'm still not 100% up to snuff here, so. My strength is a bit waning yet. And if it wants to be a jerk, that's fine. We'll just, I guess, slice that out of there. So again, we're just going to clip right in the middle of the 2 cords. Give her a pull. Do the same thing with these. I'm going to make you watch me do all 4 of them. So we'll be right back when I get ready to start. So I've gone ahead and done most of these off camera, but I'll show you what we're going to do here. Taking my wire stripper, I'm just going to get myself a nice little tail on this. I'm going to strip that out so I got my copper. I'm going to roll that into a little ball. Well, twist it up so it doesn't fray on me. And once we got all of those done, then we're ready to set up and start pulling wire. Alright, so again, as you can see, most of these wires are about the same size. So, with this particular unit here, we're going to go ahead and grab one. And I'm going to flip this around so you can see a little better. So what we're going to do is, we're going to feed this in through the back side. We want our copper underneath there. And if you can tell, my rollers are set a little tight because I can't get my cable in there. So I'm going to back that off a little bit, and I'm going to back that off a little bit. I kind of want to keep it centered. So now you'll see that we're kind of centered in there. I got some good tension on this. I have a little too much tension, so I'm going to drop this one down just a skosh. And I dropped my wire. That's alright, we'll grab another one. So, I'm going to have just a little bit of drag on there. And I don't need to cut all the way down. I see I'm a little bit shy. I want to pull that up just a little bit here. Because what I'm looking for is I want that cutting blade to be not touching that copper wire, but just above it. So I'll show you what happens when we do that. I think I'm about set perfect on this one, so let's go ahead and take a shot at this. Alright, so we got it in there. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that little ear I got. I'm going to probably have to start feeding a little bit from the backside just to get it going. But once it's getting in there and going through, and a guy can always grab a plier to help you out. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of hold it downward. That way it keeps rolling on my roller properly. And like I said, I'm not trying to cut down into that wire. I want to cut just shy of my copper inside. Because if you hit your copper, it's going to gall up into a ball, it's going to dull your blade, and it's just going to create a mess. Which is also the reason that I start with a little tab out on the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find, this is my split right here, my line, where my blade went in. I'm just going to pull this piece back into it, like that. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get started. Probably going to come just a hair deeper. But once that opens up, and you get your wire in there, and you can see that the wire is into the groove. I'm as focused as I can get there, sorry guys, but then you just pull. And that really is all there is to it. And that is the wire we got out of that. So that is quite a little chunk of wire. And given the fact that these aren't very big, is it worth stripping? Yeah, I think it's worth stripping this. If you've got a few wires like this together and you can kind of get all in the same size and get set up and do them all at the same time, absolutely. It doesn't take that long. So this particular unit, I looked this morning and I can't find it anymore. There is one that is similar to it. I believe it was like $60, and I think it was called the Copper Master. Same exact design. The only thing is it's got a round circle on the front of it, and I don't know why, but yeah, if you can get one of these for a manual wire stripper, it's actually pretty easy once you know how to use it, and that's kind of why I want to do this video, so you can see how this is actually done. We're going to go ahead and pull the rest of this wire through, and I'll show you why I actually stripped this wire, even though it is fairly small. So let me get the rest of this stripped, and I'll be right back. So I've gone ahead and stripped all those wires out, and there's our little pile of copper we got out of there. And we ended up with 4.1 ounces of copper wire out of those cords. Now, this falls under the category of worth it or not. I did weigh this all up with the insulation on it, and we had 10 ounces. I'm calling it 70% insulated copper wire. $1.25 where I'm at, so I'd 78 cents if I'd have just taken them in as is. Number 2 copper wire at 4.1 ounces, $2.95 a pound, I'd had 75 cents. So yeah, I lost 3 cents stripping that down. However, if you follow me, you follow this channel, you'll note that I melt my copper down and I sell it as ingots. I don't sell it to the scrapyard. I get far more than $2.95 a pound for it when I sell mine. If you're not going to do that and you're just taking it to the scrapyard, is it worth it? Now, when you get into wire this small, probably not. Especially if they'll let you leave the plugs on. But hey, that's not what I do here. So anyway, that's what I ended up with out of that. I just kind of wanted to show you how that copper stripper machine works. It actually is really slick once you figure out how to use it. The big thing is when you're setting that, make sure you don't put your blade down too far. And that's with any wire stripper. You want to make sure that your blade does not actually hit the copper wire. You want to be just shy of it. Then you're going to pull the copper wire through whatever's left in the split. So that's our video on stripping copper wire. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And these cords came out of the battery chargers for the cordless tools that we're doing. And I'm going to get back to finishing up that video now that I got this done. And for the rest of you, happy scrapping, and hope to see you watching that video as well.